Okay, this is week 1 of the Artist's Way check-in thing. Today is Saturday the 28th. Yeah, it said if we're doing weeks Sunday to Sunday, then you do the chapter reading on Sunday and check-ins on Saturday. So here we are. I was inspired by Dochi's Artist's Way week check-in video series. I had heard of this book on a few occasions before Dochi's video, so I already had an idea, but it was watching her videos that actually made me get the book and want to do this. And from the snippets that I was getting from her videos, I already knew that the articulations that Julia was giving would resonate heavily with me. It wasn't going to be something too woo-woo for me. It's exactly what I believe in, exactly the headspace that I'm in terms of how she expresses things. So this week talked a lot about, it's called Recovering a Sense of Safety. And it goes into a lot of the negative beliefs. Yeah, the negative beliefs in why we can't be an artist, or particular beliefs, rhetorics that we have inherited maybe from our environment, our teachers, our parents, etc., that keep us from pursuing or even trying the ideas, the creative ideas that we have out. It keeps us from even pursuing it at all. As I was going and reading through this one, I've done a lot of just general healing work within myself. I think this sense of like having a shadow artist, the artist that is hidden, buried, suppressed kind of thing, suppressed by the, again, rhetoric, sayings of parents. Oh, what do you mean you want to be an artist? That's stupid. Da 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 da. How are you going to pay your bills? All of that sort of rhetoric that keeps people interested in creating. It keeps them from even trying sometimes. I think a lot of this would have applied to me in the past, but I've done a lot of independent work up until this point, like just in general, outside of being an artist, that I feel a lot that was covered in terms of negative beliefs, negative self-talk, things of that nature. And on the other end, her saying how you take these negative beliefs and then turn them into affirmations. A lot of this I've already sort of applied. It's not really a block for me. And I was going through and really trying to, I guess, make sure that, like, that's a true statement, essentially, that this isn't really a block for me. She has a list of, like, mock core beliefs, essentially, like certain core beliefs that I guess just serve as like examples. And some of them are like they're clearly examples, like everyone will hate me, I will hurt my friends and family, I will go crazy, I will abandon my friends and family, I can't spell. Like, okay. And I mean, okay, maybe those are valid for other people, but I feel like in general, it's a lot deeper than I will go crazy, I can't spell, But one I did circle, that I was like, okay, that one does resonate a little. Like, I can see how this one could be something that, or it's definitely something that I've thought about as an artist. I will do bad work and not know it and look like a fool. That's definitely something, especially because I've expanded my artistry horizon, we'll say, and I started dabbling into something new. And when I started, I really didn't. I had the vision of what I wanted, of course, but I really didn't realize how individualistic it is. It's a writing thing. I'll say that, I guess. I'm working on a writing thing. And a writer's voice is so specific to them. There's so many ways you can say one particular sentence, and you can fixate on how you say that one particular sentence. And I think that, yeah, that experience in conjunction with me starting this book and then finding this, that definitely popped out to me. I will do bad work and not know it and look like a fool. Because I think for me, I tend to find a lot of obscure art very cool and resonative. So, I mean, that's ultimately the type of artist that I strive to be, like, to do things that I find cool. But even that, again, I don't feel like that's something that really holds me back as an artist. I think, again, it's my belief that if I find it cool, then I find it cool. It really doesn't matter if you find it cool. That I know that won't change my opinion of it completely. I think I will take other opinions into account, and maybe I will just take them into account. I'll think about it, and I might toss it around, but I really don't think that it will really take me out of how I feel about my own work. Okay, getting into the tasks for the week. So I did do all my morning pages. There was only one day, which was Thursday, which I did not do them in the morning. I did them in the afternoon, but I did the full 3 pages, and I think I did more. I'm very adept to writing. I've always liked automatic writing, so the morning pages are, again, they're automatic to me. I just knew this book was gonna resonate with me on all levels. So again, morning pages was not like difficult. I was not resistant to them at all. If anything, I almost felt like, should I be? Yeah, that was also something she said, because this is the 30th anniversary of it. So there's like a new preface and stuff, and she goes and explains the morning pages and the artist's date. And in the morning pages section that she's explaining how it is, and again, I already had a general idea because I've heard of it from other people's explaining their experience reading the book and doing all the tasks and all that stuff. So I knew what it was already. But yeah, she goes on to explain that a lot of it is boring or monotonous, or a lot of people find it boring and monotonous. Like, what they're writing in their morning pages isn't like interesting at all. But for me, I don't feel that way. Like, I feel as me, and this may just be because I'm an avid journaler and I like my tone of journaling, that I find it entertaining. And I think I'm actually, like, again, working on this like writing thing. When I do my morning pages, even within this week, I feel like I'm seeing my sense of how I communicate as a writer coming out in different ways during my morning pages. So yeah, and I'm like, so as I'm doing them sometimes, I'm like, should I be putting down, like, I don't know, things that are like stressing me out or something? Because I feel like, I don't know, should I be more intentional? But then the way she explains it is it's just a stream of consciousness. Write down everything that's coming to mind, just put it down on the paper. Don't think about it really. You're not supposed to be intentionally writing something, just put whatever's coming to mind on the paper, 3 pages kind of thing. And again, that's like easy for me. And honestly, my brain works so much faster than I can like write it out sometimes. So yeah, I don't know. I find my writing entertaining. I find my morning pages entertaining. I guess that's like a not normal thing maybe. I don't know. I haven't reread them because she says not to. So that's something I haven't done, but the process of writing it is actually pretty enjoyable. Yeah. As for the other tasks, she had like, what, 11? 10. I chose, obviously, number 1 and 2, which is the morning pages and the artist date, which are pretty much mandatory, so I didn't really count those as, like, tasks. I guess I should do the artist date check-in first. I got this book at a weird time. It was, like, not exactly the middle of the week, but I had got it a few days before Sunday, and I was trying to find time within my work schedule to, you know, start reading it. And I happened to finish the chapter, I believe it was Monday. So, yeah, my week was sort of thrown off, and then I had to try and schedule this fucking artist date and all of that, you know, within my work schedule and all that, etc., etc. But I did do the date today because I didn't get to do it in the week and I didn't want to not do it. I had considered doing 2 artist dates next week if I didn't do it this week, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, the artist date takes priority. You know, I had another project that I wanted to work on, but again, I wanted to complete. So I chose, or we chose, my artist distinctly said painting. So I was like, okay, we can paint, yeah, and we'll put on like a movie or like a musical or something, make it vibey or whatever. And I mean, at first, I thought it was going to be like regular paint or whatever, acrylic paints and like an actual canvas, but I don't know, I was just feeling so depleted, and I feel like my inner artist, my little inner child, she was also tired. You know, we were both feeling it. And I was just like, you know, what do you want to do? Like, it's up to you. We can do whatever you want to do. And I felt her say, how about watercolor? You know, pretty much, because with watercolor, it's less cleanup. You know, there's no cleanup. You just water, you dab it in the thing, you put it on the page kind of thing. And honestly, at first, I was not really enjoying myself because I wanted more vivid color. And it would, like, you would have to put so much water. There was just so much dipping and then having to scrape the color out that it was just getting on my nerves. And again, we were already like, it's been a long day. And yeah, so, but luckily I had these like watercolor pen things where you can like just squeeze the water out, which made it so much easier and so much more enjoyable. And I don't think I would have even like considered that had I not. Anyways, yeah, so this is the painting that we did, and I like it a lot. I like it a lot, and I think this is gonna be, like, this watercolor activity with these pens specifically is gonna be something that we do a lot more now, and I'm just really glad that we stuck it out, because about 5 minutes in, I was ready to, like, call it a day. She was ready to call it a day. We're just tired. She's tired, you know. I was not even really wanting to film this, but I did want to film it also because I just think, again, it's nice to have like the moment encapsulated. And I don't know, I just think it's cool. I wanted to encapsulate it. And it's also sometimes easier to talk about it and get it all out than to like write it down, you know. I feel like doing it this way is it's a lot easier to look back on. Anywho, so yeah, we did do our artist date. Yay, we did our morning pages on our artist date. I like this so much. I feel like this is so me. Like all the colors, everything. It's very much me. I like it a lot. I like what we did. The other tasks for this were like really, I don't know. None of them, oh, dang. Okay, so, again, in the preface or whatever, when she's explaining the tasks and all that, or maybe not in the preface, maybe just in the chapter, either way, she says pick at least 2 or 3, I believe, and she says pick the ones that you're obviously drawn to, but also pick ones that you're extremely resistant against. And I was like, ooh, yeah, like a challenge. So I was definitely going to do any of the ones I felt resistant against. But I didn't feel really resistant against any of them in that way. I just didn't. Okay, my memory's running out. I have to wrap it up. Okay, but yeah, so the tasks that I did was the time traveling ones, the list 3 old enemies and 3 old champions. But even as I was reading them, I'm like, certain instances come to mind, but I don't feel like I had anybody concrete who like plundered my creativity. I mean, all my parents, and when I say all, I grew up with a step parent, so my biological parents and then my step parent, they never, I don't know, they weren't really encouraging at all. My mother was very much like the, oh, you should pursue, you know, go to college kind of thing. And I mean, she did say things such as like, oh, if you don't go to college, expect not to get a job kind of thing. And I know that definitely instilled like just the way my parents harped about like, what are you gonna do with your life? And I'm like, I'm 8 years old. What do you mean, what am I gonna do with my life? And can I be a kid? Like, I know that definitely instilled in me like this just general fear of like, what am I doing moment to moment? Like, oh, it's hard for me to relax because, oh, shouldn't I be doing something right now? But again, even that, I feel like I've worked through that. And like the person that I am right now, right here in this moment, I don't deal with that. I know that's where, you know, I came from. I know that would have affected me in the past, but right now it's not. There's nothing that's telling me I can't pursue what I want to. But I did write down a few instances that came to mind immediately, just because I guess, you know, they were coming to mind. I had a friend who would constantly talk to me about being famous or whatever and how they wanted to be famous. And I never really expressed like my desires for my life and like particularly my creative desires to be known as a creative and things of that nature. And the one time, like the first time I had ever sort of like played into that, oh, I want to be famous too kind of thing with them, they either said I wouldn't be famous, like, or they laughed at me. They laughed at me like I wasn't good enough to be famous. Like, oh, what the fuck are you gonna be famous for? Kind of thing. Oh, you want to be famous. That sort of thing. And I remember I wrote it down in my notebook. I was like, on this day, anyways, person said I would never be famous, or I said this and they laughed kind of thing. There was another one with that same person. I had made a painting. I actually might go and fucking grab it 1 second. Okay, so yeah, I made this painting a while ago, but I was talking to them about how I was like proud of like how the grass came out or whatever. Like I was glad, I don't know. I thought the colors were nice or whatever. It does not look, I don't know. It doesn't look as impressive in the camera. And I mean, it's not, I'm no, you know. Anyways, I was having fun. I was proud of what I did, you know, like whatever vision that I had. And I know the vision that I had, like the spiritual aspect of the creative fire. And I'm not saying the creative fire, but again, I'm constantly, what is it? I'm constantly making myself aware of the spiritual aspect, I feel, of just life in general. And I felt like I encapsulated what I wanted to in this piece. And I know that the trees, you know, didn't go up, but I don't know. I liked how it looked, man. I liked what I did. And I still like it, you know? But I told them I was proud of the grass or whatever, and of course they asked to see it, and as soon as I turned it around, they laughed. And yeah, it just gave me like a oh wow kind of feeling, you know? But yeah, so I wrote that down. And I think, oh yeah, my dad was also just like, I don't know, he was a lot, as I'm sure a lot of people's parents are. But I think I actually won't even get into that because I'm afraid my memory is going to cop out. So we'll just skip that for now. The three champions. Again, I didn't really have anybody who consistently was like championing me on, keep going, keep whatever. I mean, I'm a musician at my core. I'm a singer at my core. And I feel like any time that I've really sung for anybody, they've always been impressed in some capacity. You know, they've always had positive feedback. But I can't recall anybody who has ever like, oh, you need to keep, you know, like really consistently championing me on. You know, it's just I've gotten a lot of positive feedback, you know, and things of that nature. And I wrote down a few different people, and I wrote down essentially what I'm saying here. Like, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback in terms of my voice, but just not consistent, you know, not from people that, you know, not from people like my parents who I see every day, who I would want to be the people who are championing me on, or things of that nature, you know. And I did the last one, which was take your artist for a walk. I actually did that after work, and I do a lot of walking with my job, so I went walking. But then at a certain point, me and my artist, we were like, how about we just sit on this log and just be, you know? And I was like, you know what? That sounds great. So we just sat, and we were in like a pathless woods, which is our favorite sort of space. And I actually felt really present, you know, in this pathless woods. And I'm noticing that I'm becoming more and more present, you know, nowadays, just in general, again, with the work that I do independently, just for my own personal well-being outside of just being a creative. But of course it affects everything. So we sat in the woods and we listened to Adrienne Lenker, and the rain was softly falling, and we had our little rain poncho, and it was just a really nice moment for me and my inner artist. So yeah, I do believe, I will say that that is a success, even though I didn't have 3 specific concrete enemies or 3 specific concrete champions. I really did dive into both those aspects and was honest about it. Again, there were people that were supportive. It just wasn't consistent, you know, it wasn't a really concrete person in my life type of thing. The one that stood out to me just now, looking back, which would have been so much fun. This one was the only one that was like, yes, I want to do that. Imaginary lives. If you had 5 other lives to lead, what would you do in each of them? I didn't think of 5, but when I automatically like read this and, you know, my brain was just pondering on it, film, like a film director or a video creator, film creator. And I mean, I create videos now, and not just these. I have another channel primarily where I post, you know, videos to accompany my music and other little things, just projects that I make. It would definitely be something with film creation. Yeah, a film creator. I would be a writer, obviously, an author. Oh, I would be a fucking aerial gymnast. Yeah. Yeah, dancer. What else? I think I would be some type of performance artist as well. Yeah, I would definitely be some type of performance artist. But even when I think about this now, oh, if you had like other lives you would lead, I'm like, I could do all of this in this life. I could. And I probably will. I may not, again, like get as in depth as if I spent my whole lifetime doing this one thing, which I assume is the thing in this. Okay, so I had to switch cameras, and this one's about to die. I guess it's just the way of the fucking world. But yeah, I feel like I could do all of them in this life. And I don't know, I would say, all in all, this week has been a success. I do truly believe that. Even though I was tired and wanted to cop out on the artist date today, I did not, which I am proud of. And I really do want to go more into depth on like my other imaginary lives. I might choose another camera to do that with. Yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back online. Yeah, thank God for multiple cameras and technologies or whatever. So yeah, alternate lives and all of that. Yeah, when I think about that, I think I've always had this sort of mentality that you really can do anything that you want. And I mean, I will say that as somebody who has and is just in general very fortunate, you know. I did not have to grow up in situations where I didn't know where my next meal is going to come from. Oh, the lights are turning off. I like, you know, every Christmas there was a Christmas. You know, we had presents, and even if it wasn't what we wanted or whatever, like, you know, and I think I'm lucky to be the person I am in terms of, even as a kid, that wasn't really what I wanted. I didn't want things. I wanted my parents. I wanted them to see me. I wanted them to want to know who I was as a person, you know? And that was the thing that hurt me the most, you know, about my upbringing, was the fact that there, you know, everything in terms of stability, you know, and like your basic physical needs was met. And because of that, everything else was neglected. And I feel like if we were in a worse, you know, a worse off situation, then those other emotional needs were absolutely definitely not going to get met anyways, you know. But yeah, so again, I'm in a position where I've never had to worry about that. So I don't think it was you know, I have a little bit more leeway to be in this mentality where I truly do believe that anything is possible, you know, and I'm in a position now where I have the resources to make a lot of my dreams, you know, just the art that I want to. I have the things at my disposal to do so, you know, or to start at least, you know. I may not have everything, but I have a hell of a lot. And yeah, I have a hell of a lot. But, well, no, not but. I think, and I'm just gonna go on a tangent because I like to do that. This is my video, I can do that. I I really do believe that in this lifetime, a lot of these alternative lives, you know, these are all alternative, alternative, yes, alternative, um, passions. I don't see how I don't see why I wouldn't be able to do all of them. I don't see why I wouldn't be able to do all of them. I could absolutely be a writer, an author, a singer-songwriter, musician, a performer in multiple senses. I could be a film director. I can create films, I can create videos. I'm doing a lot of that now. I'm not an aerial gymnast yet, but I could absolutely do that. I don't see why I couldn't do that. I don't see why I couldn't do that. I do yoga every day. I have a pretty good physical shape. I've always been interested in gymnastics, and even though I didn't get to like take gymnastics and stuff like that growing up, like I'm very flexible, not as flexible as, you know, a professional aerial gymnast or whatever, but I know I have like pretty good strength and determination, especially in the physical like capabilities realm, that I would absolutely be able to be an aerial gymnast. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't see how I couldn't be able to do all of that. To be a psychic, I actually do have a tarot channel. I don't really post there anymore because I've been like focused on my other, you know, channels. This one and the music-esque one, the more artsy-fartsy side of me. But yeah, I don't see how why I couldn't do all that. I think the only thing is, and I found that as I've been trying to pursue all of these different things myself. Again, a linguist. That's another one. I love learning languages. And I have a knack for it, you know? I have a knack for learning languages. And I would absolutely be like a linguist and speak like 25 different languages. I don't think I would want to learn 25 different languages. Truthfully, I probably would learn like 8 in this one. Maybe 5 at a minimum. No, maybe 4. Japanese, German, ASL. I would be satisfied with that, honestly. Japanese, German, ASL, Spanish. And then English. But I already know English. So again, 4. But yeah, like I would totally be into that. And I could totally do that. I could. It would take a lot of time. But I have time. I have time. In an age where a lot of people don't. And I don't know how long I'm going to have this time for. And I don't want to say that because that does bring up not great feelings. Like I'm running out of time. Which, again, is something that I've been working on. In terms of not thinking that I'm running out of time all the time. But yeah. Yeah. I don't see why I can't be all of these lifetimes in one. I think this is the lifetime where I get to do all that. This is the lifetime where I get to be everything that I imagine. everything outside of my wildest dreams. And I can sound crazy saying that. I don't mind sounding crazy. I will be crazy. I will be crazy. And yeah, when it all happens, they'll say I was crazy, then they'll see that it happened. So, yeah. Not music director. Film director, though? Or, I don't know if there's another word, but like, yeah. I have a lot of visual, like, concepts and ideas, and there's like one particular project that's been in the back of my head because obviously the way I see it, this is going to be like some high budget something, you know? It's like, this doesn't seem like something I could do on my own. I would need a team for this. So it's one of those ones that will have to sit in the back and like, what is it, accumulate, you know, sort of like Ariana Grande's little, oh, I want to be Glinda, you know, manifestation. That's mine, you know, and I won't go into it because you'll see it when it happens. I'll see it when it happens. It will happen when it happens. It has already happened. Somewhere in the universe, it has already happened. Yeah. I think I'm just stalling now. Yeah, I'm just stalling now. I like talking to you. I like talking to you. I like having company. I don't have a lot of friends, man. I think I just like sharing myself honestly, openly, and transparently. And at this moment, it's not like I have like millions of people watching me and critiquing me or whatever. So I can just do this and not feel a way about it. And I don't know, I like this, man. I like it. Every time I turn on the camera, though, I do feel like I'm getting sucked into a portal. Okay. Yeah. But that was my week. I think that's it for the check-in. Oh. I don't know if I should put this out in the world, though. I wrote, in the list of 3 champions, there was somebody that I used to know that played a very integral role in my healing journey. And I was just singing around them. I wasn't even singing to them. I was at their house and I was just singing. And I think they were in the shower or something. But they could hear me. And they said something. I don't want to verbalize it to you. Because I feel like that will jinx it. But I want to say it. Maybe if I say it, I'm just saying it to myself, you know? And I mean, right now, it's just me and you, girl. It's just me and you. It really is. It's just us for right now. I mean, yes and no, but let it just be us for now. It's just us. They said, maybe I just shouldn't say it. Maybe I just shouldn't say it. Every time we say, let there be in any form, something happens. That's the quote that's on the page that I'm looking at, that I wrote, what this person said on. And it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. It's a very good compliment. And I do believe that person was very tapped in, you know, tapped in spiritually or whatever. And it's not like they were very woo-woo, but they were at the same time. Kindred. There we go. You know, kindred spirit. kind of thing. They were definitely that. So I took the things that they said to me in this manner. Seriously, I took them to heart. Wow. Wow. So, as I'm going through all this, right? One of the tasks options, another time travel one, select and write out one happy piece of encouragement. The thing they said to me, and then it says, write a thank you letter, mail it to yourself or to the long lost mentor. The long lost mentor. I don't talk to this person anymore, but they definitely were a very big, again, mentor, a very big aspect of my life. Maybe I'll do that. I'll do that anyway. I feel like that's something, yeah. And maybe because, again, I felt like, oh, it was Monday and I had to hurry up and finish the chapter so that I knew what I needed to do, kind of thing, for this week. I think I like skimmed over that and I didn't even, yeah, that would have been a great one to do. Yeah. I'll have to do that one. And I guess I sort of did half of it unconsciously. I also wrote what they said, that specific thing that they said as a part of the, list 3 old champions of your creative self-worth. They were one of the people that I mentioned. I want to say it. I want to say it, but I don't want to jinx it, man. He said I would be as big as Madonna. And obviously that gives you sort of an idea of their time period versus where we are now. But I understand that Madonna was a very influential figure, and nothing in me says that that isn't possible for me. Nothing in me says, oh no, as big as Madonna? What do you mean? Nothing in me says anything. Nothing in me says that that can't happen. Nothing in me doesn't believe that. Nothing in me doesn't believe that. And I don't care if I seem crazy. And he said that for a reason. I do believe he was led to say that for a reason. He felt that for a reason. That was a very significant connection on many levels. And even though it was not, it's ended now, I am the person I am today because of who that person was at that time in my life for me. So yeah, one day I'll be quote unquote as big as Madonna, but truthfully, I'm just gonna be as big as me. And that's what I wrote. I'm gonna be as big as me. I'm gonna be as big as me, bitch. Yeah, and that's just what it is. Every time we say let there be in any form, something happens. Here we are. It is. It fucking is. It already is. It fucking already is. It is. Something happens. It's happened. It's happening. It's already. Okay, now I'm stalling. It already is, man. Okay, if you're running, yep, do your check-ins Saturday. Remember that this recovery is yours. What you think is important. And what you think is important. And it will become increasingly interesting to you as you progress. You may want to do check-ins in your morning pages notebook. It's best to answer by hand and allow about 20 minutes to respond. The purpose of the check-in is to give you a journal. What? Is to give you a journal of your creative journey? Oh, okay, I guess that makes sense, yeah. A journey of your creative journey is how I was reading it. A journey of your creative journey. It is my hope that you will later share the tools with others, and in doing so, find your own notes invaluable. Yes, I was mad in week 4. I loved week 5. How many days this week did you do your morning pages? 7 out of 7? Yes. How was the experience for you? I already explained that. Did you do your artist date of the week? Yes. I already explained that. What did you do? How did it feel? I already explained that. Were there any issues this week that you consider significant for your recovery? Issues this week. I feel like my only issue was that, again, and this is just something I've been coming up a lot because I am a person that has so many things that I want to do. I have a lot of things that I want to do. I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot that I want to learn. And then I also have to balance that with like going to work and taking care of myself and eating and sleeping, etc. Which, you know, again, I am very fortunate, you know, to have my life. My life, you know, I'm very fortunate to have my life because there are people out there working 2 jobs who have kids, you know, and no time, or, you know, supposedly no time to really just take to themselves. So I think the thing with me has been balance, but I feel like this week I've done swimmingly at listening to myself, really listening to myself. You know, there are times when I feel myself and my brain telling me that I'm overstimulated, but I haven't stopped in the past. But this time, like today, I woke up and I was just, you know, I had this dream, and I record all my dreams and I write them on my phone, which I don't really like opening my phone first thing in the morning, but it is what it is, you know. It's just easier to type it on my phone, and then I have a whole Google Doc with all my dreams logged. So if I write it down, you know, in like a physical notebook, it's just gonna screw up the whole thing. So yeah, I was writing down my dream. I haven't had a dream in a while, but I saw this animal in my dream that I didn't know what it was. So I was trying to like do all this research to find out if I could find what the animal was. And I could feel my brain just like frying, looking at my phone. And like sometimes it legit takes me over an hour to write down my dream, you know, because I'm adding all these details and again looking up information. So yeah, by the time I finished my dream and all that, like I just wanted to like sit in the dark, and it was too much stimulation first thing in the morning. And I think that sort of carried on throughout my day, where I just needed silence. And of course, in this day and age, silence can be uncomfortable. Non-stimulation, not filling the gaps, can be uncomfortable. But I listened to myself and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to sit here because I can. I'm just going to sit here because that's what I'm sort of being led to do. And of course, once I get past that resistant hump, I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. This is wonderful. This is exactly what I needed, kind of thing. I guess that's the only issue coming to mind. Yeah, that's the only issue coming to mind. I'm gonna put my little wish doll bookmark for chapter 2, which I will read tomorrow. But that is my check-in. And I think it's good that I use my wish doll as the bookmark because he's hearing all of this, you know? He's heard all of this discussion today, and he's taking it and transporting it to the gods, to the universe. That's really what all this is. It's just communication to ourselves, our deeper soul, and the source which we all come from, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. It's just all a dialogue. So let this take me as high as it can go for my highest and greatest good, my highest and greatest joy, and the highest and greatest good and the highest and greatest joy of everybody involved. And so it is. Okay. So it is.